Was terraced, you know, the apple trees. This would have been part of the old orchard. The only vestigial remaining part of the orchard are 2 apple trees and the plum tree. Bower, well, we've just trimmed and pruned and planted and terraced. Just really a family name, the Bower. Isabel comes down with a cup of tea here, you know, when I'm working in the garden, facing south. These buddleia in the corner were seeded off a very old buddleia bush that I petted and cosseted and told what a nice old lady it was, and she threw off babies into that corner. We've pruned and petted and worked on what was here when we came in. One of my predecessors, a man called Willie Hanna, who came up from the West Associate, I think, in Peterhead, he was a great gardener. 20 years ago, but of course a garden soon gets into disarray. And however, I venture to say we had the grace to recognize that this garden had been loved, and we came in behind and loved it in return. We realized that ministers and ministers' wives had gone through this, I hope, arm in arm, smile to smile, and that it had afternoons and garden parties and so on. And we thought, well, okay, we needn't start saying what a mess it is, because when we go out, somebody's going to come in behind us and say, "Fet was the creator thinking a DNS," and they're going to have their own way. But but we just worked away at what, partly in what was obviously, of course, we added, and with trying to keep about an acre, of course, it was quite out of the question to think that we could landscape it a la per se thrower, a la, you know, Q or anything like that. So what you did was, you genuinely, when you were visiting, I'd like to see you go, "Okay, come on, see me again," and you say, "That's all right, when I planting. Would you like a bit of," "Oh, I'd like a bit of that." So of course, I have many friends in the garden. For example, these rose bushes here now. Right, that's Tommy Watt. These rose bushes. That's Tommy Watt. And these poor man's orchids down there, that's Isabel Robertson. That's Doddy Cooper. And there's Mary Mickey's and Mrs. Towler's all over the place. You can. That's I have a pony show for the months, but it's for you to say.
So this was the Beadle's Kale Yard?
It would have been, so far as I can make out, the Beadle's Kale Yard. There, as it seems. That was the Beadle's cottage. at Gushety, kind of quadrilateral. uh, that that at a time would have been the Beetlescale yard, and that at Dickie and Ditchy there would have been the boundary of the Beetlescale yard. That of course is part of the Kirk ground. Now all that we have left at Gleebland now is as Bray, which runs in a crescent around the manse to the west, and it's presently an oat, a crop which in recent years has come back into favour, the porridge cereal, and a fair good crop. Now the interesting thing about this is that the committee of managers have their own tenants. A minister, his first bite at Gleebland, he can become the tenant out, not the owner. It's fairly a perquisite, but even a minister has to pay rent to the general trustees in Edinburgh. Well, when I come in, I thought, well, I was maybe just old enough to figure one out and so on and so on. So I declared what is known as a no interest. That is to say, I made the management of the glebe and any revenue that accrued from that management over to the congregation. And so the congregation's committee of management, the board as it's sometimes called, they are their own tenants, and they pay rent for us Betty to Edinburgh, and only thing that they mark off out, well, that gangs into congregational funds. I think last year we had considerably over £500 of it, and it's a great help. There's some glebes considerably bigger. I have heard of glebes as big, as much as 40 acres. And I have a feeling, judging from the size of the manse steading, that the original glebe would have been much bigger than this present 5 acres. By the way, some cast 6 points of it and so on, but just a round figure 5 acres. Okay. I think that the glebe land that would again with the Tyrie manse at one time would have extended to about 30 acres. And I've spoken with one or two of the other folk here, and they say, they think that at one time the glebe land ran awa into Kirkmyers. And if you think about it, that's very possible. The wheatland's attached to the Kirk, the Myers, the Kirkmyers, and there's a farm of that name just to the west of here.
So this had been the original entrance to the church, the manse.
As was the gates. You can look, you can still see the hinges there, and the residual video. This would have been the gates. And this would relate, of course, to the old days of the high steppers and the carriage, the gate maybe, and through here they would come, and around they would come, around this Mount Cada tumulus, an old burial ground related to the days of the Vikings, around here and spanking right up the last 1,200 yards to the manse in great style. But of course it's all overthrown now, and the best that we can do is just to cook a tracking, which is great fun for the likes of the guides and the brownies when they come over here for a pick. Yes, and there's a great sense of peace somehow. When I walk down in here, I don't overdo it because it's so precious. You just say to yourself, "Aye boys, okay, sleep a while, you're doing well here. I like to hear your company." car's masked. Doesn't it matter?
No, it doesn't matter. No, it's fine.
Right here then. When it off have to come away again, and let it be. And therefore you get, the young growth of the snowberry comes up.